It's foul territory at Nationals camp, and Nathaniel Lowe is leading off top of the show here. Good to see you, man. And did you expect to be here? I mean, you end up on the Washington Nationals as their first baseman. Could you have imagined that a year ago?
I mean, you never rule out any possibility of playing for anybody, barring the teams that have first basemen signed to big, long deals. But yeah, no, it's a little bit of a shock, but it's exciting. I'm happy to be here. We're looking forward to a great summer.
Back in Florida. That's what he's excited about, Scott. He's back. Get rid of that Arizona crap. He's back in Florida for spring training.
No more desert.
No more sinus infections from all the dust. He can go fishing if he wants. We can go golfing.
All those calluses rip open like right away when you get to the desert.
Yeah, I just don't understand. So how has camp been so far? Been here
camp's good.
About 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's like that 2 week to 3 week period where it kind of feels like 2 days and kind of feels like 2 months, So like we're counting down the days to where it really counts. It's nice to get the guys like on a routine and kind of figure out when you're going to play and get used to playing next to Louis and then whoever's going to be around the rest of the infield. We got a good group here, man. So it's nice to get settled in and get into a rhythm.
Who have you met that you have just clicked with so far?
I mean, there's nobody that I haven't. Honestly.
Well, I mean, you're a nice guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you kind of would click with everybody, but there's got to be one person. Is there one person maybe that you've kind of gravitated towards?
I like talking with Josh Bell. I really do. His locker's right next to mine. Both of us are like above average height guys who fit in 911 somehow. So we got that going on. It's fun to rag on him for like getting used to driving a stick in a GT3 for the first time. So like, a lot of us get a stick and like aren't driving a $200,000 sports car.
You know how to drive a stick?
I mean, loosely.
So you're
yeah, I mean, I could stall out for sure with the best of them.
It's a Porsche 911 for everybody who doesn't know what a 911 is. Porsche 911.
Nathaniel's not used to talking to common folks. He just says 911.
Is it used or is it new?
I think his is used. I know mine's used for sure. We can't afford the new ones yet,
you just over $10 million.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I feel like when you're buying new Porsches, like you got to be on a big deal because they lose money like anything else does.
By the way, as I'm gonna inform you of this as a Porsche dealer, it's a Porsche.
Right.
Because if you say Porsche,
oh God, how dare you?
How dare you?
You filthy American.
Yes, it's a Porsche. It's a Porsche. Okay, I learned that the hard way.
We don't have a bonus promo code for getting a car. Sorry, FT fans.
I wish we did. I wish we did.
Scott, get to work, Scott. I need a Porsche.
Use code FOUL for a free. No.
Yeah, right.
Epic. All right. So, all right. Go ahead, Kratz. You got one?
No. I was just gonna say you went from Texas over here to Washington, where you went from kind of like the young guy to now you're the old guy. Is that a like quick switch that you have to flip and be like, guys, I'm sitting in the front of the bus, look at my silver slugger and my ring, like, or are you just being who you are?
No. I fit in really nicely with this group. So regardless of how much time these guys have or how old they are, it's pretty good to be around these guys who are looking for some direction and, being able to help out the rest of the infielders, guys in the lineup, whether it's just, getting used to the life or getting your family moved somewhere or just being comfortable in the clubhouse. I'm going to assume the role and do the best that I can do because there's still plenty of guys here with more time than I have. So it's not like I'm the seasoned vet. I mean, I haven't even hit free agency, but to be able to kind of help these guys along their journey and help them get the most out of their career, like, we're poised for a great summer.
Who's impressed you? You're talking about these young guys.
Cruz the player. Wood hits it so far.
Luis.
Oh my gosh, all of them. Yeah, Louis Garcia, like the way he gets to the high pitch is amazing. Like there's never been a high fastball I think that he's seen that he doesn't think he can get on top of. And then like there's depth. I'm getting used to all the pitchers. I don't really have a feel for like who entirely is who yet. Just because some of the guys that have been around like haven't really gotten into the game. You know how camp goes. So ideally in the next couple weeks, we'll be able to run out the leverage guys and see the starters get a little deeper through the order. So it's pretty promising.
Name tags.
Yeah, right.
Hey guys, I need y'all to work.
Well, I got the key.
I've been in the American League my whole life, so I'm going to need you guys in the National League guys to wear name tags. I don't know who you are.
The key in the locker is the best. Where you get to a new clubhouse and you get the staff and their name and their faces underneath it. Like That's so big. Because even like
when did they start doing that? Because I was never on a team that did that.
I had to ask for it.
Oh,
I had
see,
to ask
that was
special
smart.
for it. Yeah. But like I don't know. You can only go like dude and brother guys so long.
Pal, I was always like, hey, buddy,
hey,
pal.
there's my guy.
Yeah,
there's my guy.
What's up, pal?
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, but no, at first and last names, knowing where guys like what affiliate they're going to be with, like which guys are AA, AAA, Rovers. It's been pretty fun.
All right, you talked about position players. What about pitchers? I know you faced some lives. Is there anybody that you're like, whoa, I didn't realize that he was that nasty? Or you're like, I took all of them deep. They all stink.
I mean, Ferrer, I stood behind. I didn't want to get into the batter's box. Anybody sinking 98 left-handed with that can spray a fastball is not my.
You're a platoon guy, though.
Yeah,
You're a platoon guy.
Sorry. I'll just get on base with lefties. That's all.
Yeah, well, that's not a skill.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, but
no, it's a skill.
We'll leave that one where it is. No, I mean. Gore, Williams, all these guys like frustrating at bats left and right. Soroka's back. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Whatever he's doing with his four seam and the curveball, like it's cool to see because I saw the Soroka that was sinking it at the bottom, and like was an automatic ground ball, but now it feels like he's really bringing in some swing and miss stuff. So it's nice to see him take that step. And then between the young guys, honestly, I really don't know who's in the mix and who's not, but there are guys left and right that can get the ball across the plate and get early contact and get an out.
Hey, fans are asking about the rest of the division. Your thoughts on obviously teams like the Braves, the Phillies, and the Mets added a little bit of help, including some offense in former Nat Juan Soto.
Sure. It's going to be exciting. I'm happy to play in the East again. I like going to New York. I like playing, Miami's a good place to play, I think. Sneaky.
Said nobody ever? Except for you?
I'll tell you what. I mean, there's really, really
Oh,
big...
you're talking about not the ballpark in the 5...
Nice restaurant.
You know what? You're a hater.
I'm not, dude. Listen, I love because normally you stay at the really nice hotel in Miami on the beach. Fabulous.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm talking about when you actually get to the park.
I mean, like, you're going to compete. Like maybe it's a little break. Say you're in a stretch where like coming down to the wire, you're playing in playoff teams. I'm not saying Miami's not a playoff team; they're a major league team. Everybody should be poised to win. But with the way the record's reflected going into it, maybe it's a break. And obviously, it's not a game that you can look over because anybody can beat anybody every night. But maybe it's nice to get a little quieter atmosphere in the ballpark. What? I mean. Yeah.
Again, said nobody ever.
Sorry.
But except like the nicest guy in the world.
It'd be fun to go back to Atlanta. It'd be fun to go to Philly. I'm excited to play in New York. Obviously Nats Park is nice too. And then, I like the East. I really do.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah.
All right. So this might be a better question the next time you come on, but you were in the American League West and you faced the Mariners rotation. Have you faced the Phillies rotation consistently? And I want to know who you think is better. And then when you come on the next time, I really want to know who you think is better because you're going to see them just as much as you saw the Mariners.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I'll make note of it and pay attention to what happens because, but we saw the Seattle guys so much. You never really like get used to it just because the stuff's so good, but you definitely know what you're signing up for when you go into a weekend in Seattle or a 4-game set, whenever it is. So it'll be nice to see the Phillies mix. Obviously, they're making big ads too, and they want to contend. So it'll be a lot of fun to go there and obviously play in a super loud environment. And, it's exciting.
Yeah, it's a little different. Miami and Philly. Yeah. So you go New York, Atlanta, Philly, and then Miami.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a little different.
It'll be nice to have the difference in atmosphere.
Wow. Okay.
Change of pace.
Yes.
You'll see it.
The change of pace is nice.
Keep up with me here.
I'm looking right now. Sorry, I'm looking for when do you guys play Texas?
I think it's in June.
Is it on the road or is it home?
It's at home. We don't go back to Texas till next year.
Okay. So is it going to be awkward? Because I know you've been in other organizations, but you were kind of a Ranger in the World Series there.
Yeah.
So when you step into the box the first time.
I'm going to be excited. Is
it going to mean – because I always wondered this because people would always ask me, especially when you change teams the first time. Does it mean more like say you get a hit to win that game or because they traded you away, right? So 100%. Minnesota traded me to San Francisco and then I went to the White Sox. So that first time I played, especially on the road in the old Metrodome, it was
Right.
like, all right, this just means more because you got rid of me.
Yeah, it's something similar for sure. I mean, I remember the first game I went back to Tampa. Like, I know I hit a homer to left, and I was like, man, that should count for 4 homers. You know, just because like you come up in the organization, you play with the guys for so long, like you appreciate what all they've done to get you to that point of your career, and then obviously they felt the need to have somebody else play your position. So you like, there's no like malice at all, definitely not. But like, I'm not going back there to lose.
Nice.
Right.
I like it.
Right.
I love it.
We don't want to run into Tampa and lose because that's a difficult place to play as a road guy.
Tampa?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Super loud.
You're going to get me in trouble.
Especially with no roof. I mean, imagine how quiet it'll be.
I mean, it's going to be crazy. I'm actually, I'm not upset that we're not going to Steinbrenner this year. They're coming to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a rain out waiting.
It's going to be some. I mean, they're going to lead the league in doubleheaders. That's for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Wait, I want to take you back to when you got traded to the Nats. Where were you in that first base carousel that occurred? I think it was like a 24 to 48 hour stretch right before a holiday. Maybe it was right before Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Yeah, right before Christmas.
Christmas, yeah. And then like 6 first basemen found new seats.
Yeah, I think Walker signed first in Houston. Not that I didn't think Houston was ever an option. And then like my friends are sending me tweets because I don't look at Twitter, but I was looking at it more this winter. And then obviously like Yankees Twitter was like, all right, get him over here. And then I think Goldschmidt signed there and Naylor went to Arizona, Santana went to Cleveland. And I told my wife, I was like, all right, cool. If Goldschmidt's in New York, we're not getting traded. I think we're going to be able to stay here for another year because we bought a house in February. And it was like a real treat to live at home and live in your own house and go to the ballpark. And obviously my wife's family's from there, so it works out really nice. But I said it out loud, and then 2 days later, I'm on a hunting trip, and Chris Young's name pops up on my phone. I'm like,
oh, no.
Here we go.
Oh, no.
Where am I going? Because like the way it worked before, too, is like Erik Neander had texted me and said, hey, you're in a move. I'll call you in a sec. So when you see the GM's name pop up in December, you're like, all right, something's going on with the roster. I'm going to move somewhere.
Do you ever have to pay for another beer again in Texas?
I'm pretty spoiled, man. I've gotten treated so well. And like, aside from winning and having like the history of the organization be changed by finally getting a championship, like I think the reception from the people makes the World Championship that much better because people were just so happy. Like they were truly excited to have a championship team, truly excited to like see a new ballpark and feel like the organization's like making the turn to be a perennial contender for sure. There was a lot of meals that were paid for that winter right away. I was seeing pictures in barbershops of a family that was at the old stadium before Globe Life, like with the block Texas T on the hat and the throwback logo or whatever, but people that have been fans for 50, 60 years. And like, it felt like a really cool moment to be able to help them fulfill like what every team sets out to do every year.
What will you miss the most about Texas? Is it a player? Is it one of your teammates? Is it something outside of the ballpark?
I think after spending 4 years there, aside from the 3 losing seasons and obviously the world title season, I felt like I was able to branch out and actually have friends. Like I had friends that were in different golf clubs and I get spoiled and have access to go out and play with them, but people that like through my wife and her friends, I have a friend group and it feels like an extended family, like you don't go to church all season and then you get to go on Sundays in the off season and feel like you're actually plugging into a community. I got to see the local high school team and hang out with some of those kids, like get to go to a batting cage, not at the field for the first time this winter and hang out with other pro players that are like in the DFW. So having access like that and having a network like that, I'm definitely going to miss working around them, but it's going to make an off season great too.
Okay. Last thing.
Sure.
You're now a Washington National.
Yes.
Are you a history guy? Because you are now in basically the hub of American history. So will you be at the?
No.
monuments, trying to sneak into the White House.
No.
Nothing?
No, I got to do the White House last summer.
True.
Yeah.
But I don't know if
No, I'm going to walk my dog in the morning.
That's it?
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, so you're not going to be, at the monument, at the
mall.
mall.
If family comes in town and wants to go, then they can go. But I don't know. I love them, but I'm not going to go walk the National Mall.
You don't want to go walk to the Smithsonian and walk for miles and miles?
No. I mean, I do it at some point just to check the box, but I don't really see myself getting out there and sweating, walking around before I have to go sweat at 7 o'clock and obviously get after it that night when it really counts.
Got it. All right. Understood.
That's called tourism load management. It's very smart. I like that move.
Small doses.
Yes. Nathaniel, awesome to see you, man. Welcome to Nats camp. Obviously, you've been there for a minute, but good luck the rest of the spring here, and we'll talk to you during the season.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you. That's Nathaniel Lowe with us, new Nats first baseman, his GM or president of baseball ops, Mike Rizzo joining us soon, his manager, Dave Martinez, joining us soon, too. FT fam, if you love ripping packs of cards, there is a modern way to do that now on Arena Club with their slab packs and Kratz. I know you love ripping slab packs and getting that sweet card that you've always been looking for.
Yeah, and you don't have to go through all the other ones, all the Kratz cards that are in there. Bang, you just get the big one, the one that you're just peeking right around the corner when you open that pack, the one you expect to get.
Also, Arena Club will make you an instant offer for your card based on its market value. You'll get an instant offer of 90% of the estimated value, so you can accept it on the spot, simple, fast, and risk-free. Use that cash to buy more slab packs, and you can get your cards officially graded by Arena Club. So go check it out right now, FT fam. You can get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/foul and then use the code FOUL. That's arenaclub.com/FOUL. Code FOUL for 20% off your first purchase. Get after it, FT fam. Here we go. We're back for a couple minutes, and then we'll get back to Nats camp. So it's Braun and Kratz. I'll bring this one up while we have a moment, and it sounds like Mike Rizzo will be ready to join us next segment. Just to cap off the news from yesterday about Luis Heel, we did learn Kratz that he's going to be shut down for at least 6 weeks. We had talked about the lat strain. A lot of Yankees reporters were talking about how Clark Schmidt had a similar injury last year and missed over 3 months. So this is a massive, massive blow to the Yankees rotation. Do they have depth? Yes, Stroman slots right in, but then the depth starts to thin after that.
It does. One thing the Yankees do a good job of is BMO have people on call in AAA, but I expect them to go out and make some type of move in the sense of how do we get more depth? I'm not saying that they're going to go out and get Kyle Gibson and slot him into the rotation, but if there's a Lance Lynn that's available, I don't know. You'll see. He's been there. You need to make sure you have somebody that can pick up innings in case or when one of these 5 guys go down.
Right. So you might miss him for about a half a season. Remember, Stroman at the beginning of spring training said, I'm a starter. He is most definitely a starter now. And actually, some fans brought up how he's got some clause. I think he's got to hit 140 innings for that player option to activate for the next season. I mean, if he stays on the mound, he's probably getting that action. So it actually works out depth-wise. I do not see him being traded now. I didn't see him being traded anyway, at least not for the first few months here of the season. I definitely don't see him being traded now. So it is a nice guy to have on the outside looking in to slot in now to be part of that 5-man.
I have a new 2-year-old.
Here we go. Nationals longtime front office leader Mike Rizzo with us, back live on Foul Territory. Mike, great to see you. And how's camp going so far? You like the team that you put together?
Yeah, all good. At this point in camp, no injuries is a good thing, and guys are playing with energy and trying to get their work done. It's nice. There's a good vibe in camp.
How do you have such a good camp? Because you just told me you have a 2-year-old.
Yeah,
2
years old. Yes.
Wow.
My boy Sonny.
Wow. Okay.
And, I'm out in the sun all day, so, all day, all year. So yeah.
Wow. I can't imagine having a 2-year-old. I've been through it. I've already
Yes,
done it.
it keeps me moving.
Wow.
Pretty good.
I mean, yeah, I'm like, yeah, no. Oh, wow.
It's
Okay.
a trainer.
All right.
That's a trainer, AJ. Best way to stay in shape. Run around with the little tyke, right?
Chasing around it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get back to baseball now because I'm kind of in a state of shock.
Yeah.
So what's been the thing for camp? Everyone, you go to the camps and everyone's like, oh, how's the mood? The mood's great. We're this and that. What's kind of the theme? What are you guys looking to see or accomplish in this year's camp before you break to start the season?
It's a good time of year. You've been through it. This is my 43rd spring training. It's spring training is great. It's, everyone's optimistic. But it's really time to get your work in and to really set the foundation of what we're trying to do and accomplish this year. And I think that, Davey's a good messenger. He's always the upbeat guy and players love playing for him. And I think that when we started camp, we wanted to get, a couple of things, out in the forefront right away. It's we're here to compete this year. We're not. I'm not on the radio saying that we're the best team and we're going to win the World Series, but we're going to compete every day to win every game. And I remember in 2012, when all the analysts and all the systems and picked us to win 71 games. We ended up winning 98 in the division and playoffs and all that stuff. So we're
is that the Cardinals? No, that wasn't the Cardinals year in the playoffs.
That was the Cardinals year in the playoffs.
So
yeah,
you guys had
we had Game 5. We had the lead in Game 5 and we lost.
Sorry,
that was it was a painful time in my life. But I appreciate.
I'm sorry. But you got it back. You got it back in 2019. I apologize.
Exactly.
I just was like that was that year.
Yeah, that was it was a year we weren't. We were young and up and coming and that type of thing, and things clicked and we went on a run. We won the most games of anybody in baseball. So the message is to Davey says all the time, keep be where your feet are every day, 1-0, all that stuff. But that really translates for us, and kind of put beside. We don't want to hear that we're rebuilding and wait to the future. And the future is today at 1:00 when we play. When we play the Cardinals. So that's kind of our mood and what we've laid in front of these guys. And I think they've if they've taken it to heart, and we've got one of the youngest teams in baseball. But I think that. That's no excuse for not playing the game the right way, not having the right attitude, not coming to work every day, ready to really compete against the opponents.
You were a player, so you still have that competitive. Now, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. You were a player, so you still have that competitive drive in there. Did you have a good offseason this year? Do you look at it that way as like as a GM, president of baseball operations, who's making moves to build a team? Did you have a good offseason if you don't necessarily execute everything that you were looking to do in that particular offseason?
Yeah. First of all, I'm extremely competitive, probably too competitive at times. But we attacked the offseason this way. We had a budget to spend. We had an allotment of money from ownership. They gave us our payroll, and my job is to do the best I can with the money I was given, and look not only to win today, but win tomorrow and in the future, and be a sustainable championship caliber club. And we think that we checked off a lot of the boxes that we wanted to check off. And we're going to give our young core group of guys a real opportunity to play and get at bats and get innings under the belt, but brought in some veterans to help that process along. A learning process. Some veterans in the middle of the lineup, some veterans in the bullpen to help us win games when we're supposed to win them.
I have to ask because I as a baseball fan, you guys were like my sleeper pick to make a big splash in free agency this year. I was talking to one of the big guys that were out there. It didn't happen, which is fine. You have your budget. You have to do what you have to do. But are you disappointed? Because when the Nationals, you mentioned 2012, but when you guys got really good, you go get Scherzer, you go get Corbin, you bring in guys from outside the organization to help you get over the hump and win the World Series.
Right.
Is it time now with the core that you have of Cruz and Wood and Ruiz and and Mackenzie Gore and some of the other pitchers coming through and some of the young guys you still have coming, Morales and House and some of the other guys?
Yeah.
Is it time for the Nationals to go out and make that splash again like they did with Worth, right? And again,
Mm-hmm.
Scherzer and all these other guys. Is it getting to that point where now we have a core, we need to go supplement it with some veteran guys that can help us get to the next level, which for the Nats now, because listen, you did it. You won the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
So now that is the goal for the Nationals.
But it's definitely the goal. It's always been the goal before, during, and after, since we won it. And nobody likes rebuilding. Nobody likes losing games and wait till next year and that type of thing. We certainly don't. I think we're getting to the point where you say when you see an opportunity to make yourself so much better for not only for that particular year, but for years going forward. That's what we're looking to do. We've always been aggressive when the opportunity knocks and when it's time for us to go. Billy Bean told me a long time ago, when you see your opening and your green light, step on the gas and go for it. And I think that we employed that concept, back in 2010, 2011, going into 12 and 13. And when we systematically, when our young kids popped and they became good players and allotted us to, go into the free agent market and kind of handpick the guys that not only fit for us positionally, but fit for us between the lines, in the clubhouse, in the community, and taught us how to become champions.
One of the guys you DFA'd this offseason was Kyle Finnegan. Can you walk us through the process of an org saying, okay, we're going to DFA you, but then come back to him and say, oh yeah, you were a closer. We'd love to have you back.
Well, we all have payrolls and that we have to adhere to, and we felt that at his arbitration number, Finney's arbitration number, we could have more bang for our buck using it somewhere else, and then when the off season went through, we made some kind of judicial bullpen helps and tweaks and that type of thing, but always stayed in contact with Finn. I have a great affinity for him, and he's a guy who fits kind of the MO that I like in our players. He's ultra competitive, takes the ball, never says no, grinds it out, and that 27,000 is no joke. I think it's it separates a lot of relief pitchers. He's been the guy on the mound 30 out of 43 times. Got the final out for us, which is a skill set in itself. So always kept in contact with him, was always professional with them, and with great respect. Even when you DFA a guy or release a guy or whatever, trade a guy, there has to be that mutual respect between player and general manager. And I think that at least from my side, I have nothing but respect for him and his family. Always treated Finney in a professional way. Gave him an opportunity. If people remember when he was a kind of a perpetual minor league player, we gave him that one big league contract to get him over here, and he just ran with it with the help of Hickey and Doolittle and those guys, Ricky Bonus in the bullpen, helping him develop some pitches, and he had that demeanor that was conducive to get that 27th out.
He has an attitude, right?
Yeah, he has an attitude and an attitude, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we just had Nathaniel Lowe in here, and he said he was surprised he got traded here. Why him? Why Nathaniel? I know he's an awesome dude. So
yeah, great guy. Had a lot of good reports on him. We had a lot of relationships with people in Texas, and said they would rave about him. But he kind of filled the skill set they were looking for. Kind of two-way player that it can excel offensively, defensively, with a young core of infielders. You know how that is. Having a good defensive first baseman over there really changes the dynamic of that infield. I think it'll improve us not only because he's at first base and a Gold Glove winner and a great defender, but because the ease of mind for the rest of the infielders. Let it fly, just keep it down, and he's gonna help you out and that type of thing. And a left-handed bat draw some walks, see some pitches, grinds out at bats. He takes really good at bats, and he's got some power, and a guy that will hit in the middle of our lineup and kind of ease the burden of the younger guys, along with Josh Bell and a couple other veterans.
Hey, Mike, Juan Soto is forever a part of Nationals history. You guys made a really, really big offer to him several years back. What was your reaction, a few months ago when you saw the final number for him?
Yeah, you're only worth what someone's willing to give you. Someone wanted to give, thought Juan was worth, $750, and he took it. He's one of the great players in the game. I love him. I brag about that. I was the first one to sign him for a lot less than that when he was 16 years old. He turned into.
Hey, you offered him $400 million or whatever it was,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, we did. But I like the first sign. When he was 16, we offered him some money. We got him to sign, and we developed him, and he turned into a star before our very eyes. Culminated in a world championship, and Juan and I will always have that. So got nothing but fond memories for him. Now we want to stick it to him when we play the Mets. 150 times a year, it seems like. But we'll be seeing a lot of Juan, but one of the great young men in the game.
The other part of that storyline, Mike, for me, is when Soto faces a team that has many players that were received in that trade with the Padres. So what have been your thoughts on the way that trade has worked out for your franchise?
Well, I think it worked out great for both sides. The Padres, were aggressive. They got what they wanted to get, and we were in the market to get a bevy of prospects for him, and I thought we did a good job. I mean, you look at the talent level of the guys that we received back. I still think they're still bearing fruit, but I think everyone sees the skill set, the tool set, and the impact they have on our roster each and every day. And when you get 5 good players and a big leaguer that they threw in for a guy, that's really all you can ask for. And when you trade a guy like Juan Soto at his age, with his service time and control left, you better get a good haul for him. And oftentimes, no matter what you get for him, it's not enough. But we think that we did as good a job as you could do trading a superstar like Juan Soto.
Okay, last one, and we're going to let you go because you have a lot of work to do.
Yes.
You can't say Frank Thomas, only since you've been with the Nats. Best player you've drafted or signed, because you've got Harper. Strasburg was really good when he was healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Rendon. There's a lot. Juan Soto we just mentioned.
Sure.
So the best in the national era of you, who do you think is the best player that you've drafted or signed?
Well, it's Harp's won a couple MVPs since then. Juan's been great. Rendon was fabulous for us for 6 years. I drafted Scherzer back in the day. He's got 3 Cy Youngs.
Trey, I forgot about Trey.
Trey was a trade, but he was unbelievable for us.
Yeah, you really drafted him because you traded for him like before he even played a game. We're like,
right.
Hey, we already traded for him.
Yeah, it's. I always get asked this question, the Mount Rushmore of the Nationals and all that stuff. But we've run a lot of superstars through this organization. And when you say, the guys that I've signed, it's a we thing here. It's never me, it's us. And I a lot of times just put the fine, they get me to the 2-yard line and I go over to for the touchdown. But we had a lot of great players here, and we're proud of that.
You got to pick one.
I'm going to pick. I'm not going to pick one.
One pitcher, one player.
One pitcher. The Cy Young winners that I've had. Mad Max.
You drafted him, then you signed him to a huge. You're still
drafted him, then signed him back.
We're
still paying him. We'll pay him for a couple more years. Brandon Webb was a Cy Young winner.
Yeah, he was filthy.
He was filthy. Strauss was great. Jordan Zimmerman was great. We've had a lot. We've been lucky here. We've done some good things.
Okay, so Bryce or how about this? Bryce or Juan?
Bryce or Juan, I'm going to say it's a tie.
Oh my God!
Really. I mean, you're talking about two-time MVP and one of the best hitters on the planet to this day. So I couldn't decide between the two.
You've got a great resume.
I really couldn't.
Listen, you've got a great. I mean, we didn't even talk about Frank Thomas. I wouldn't let him because he did sign Frank Thomas. So I can't even include that in the conversation. I mean, he was a first ballot Hall of Famer along with some of those other guys. So you've had a nice run. Thank you very much,
Appreciate
Mike, for
it.
joining us, and good luck to the Nats this year.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Good to see you.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
My
That's Mike
earpiece
Rizzo.
kept falling out. Wasn't my fault.
No, it's all
You
good.
nailed it. It was great. All right, FT fam, we're back. And actually, AJ reminded me about a topic we didn't have time for, but I'm sure he would have said, yeah, it's fine. The Nationals have done quite a few deferrals in their day as well. It is not a foreign concept. Sometimes when you look online, you think it's something new. It is not. Half of Anthony
Unfair.
Santander's
Only the Dodgers
contract
are
is
doing
like
it.
that. Yeah, only the Dodgers are doing it. I don't know. That one has thrown me off multiple times. Shohei brought that deal himself. And yes, the Dodgers do have quite a few deferrals in the contracts they offer, but the Nats were the deferral team for most of the past decade, up until really 2-3 years ago. That was the team that was really leading the charge. And there was, I think, more reasoning to that with the way that they had litigation running with the Orioles over their TV contract. And that actually just got settled, which is awesome news for them. Nats fans should be excited about them. It does kind of help to settle the books a little bit. And it sounds like they might sell some naming rights to the stadium. So all of those things really should contribute to a team that maybe we're falling for it. But Kratz, next offseason, should be able to get a little splashier.
Yeah. I mean, you even heard Mike say it right there. Like, hey, when you believe it, you go all in. Billy Beane told him, when you believe in this team, you go all in. To me, there's your answer. They don't believe yet. So, you're going to have to see something from some of these young guys, some of these young pitchers, and some of these young position players, how they mature and how they build on the success that they've had.
Exactly. All right, FT fam, here's the deal. We're back in about a minute. And if no other Nationals are there at the moment, we'll go over some news. Biggest one from yesterday should be José Quintana signing with the Milwaukee Brewers. So we'll slice that up for a few minutes. And then we'll get to Dave Martinez. We might have CJ Abrams joining us, among others here. So we'll be right back. We're back. We're charging the mound. We have a signing. It is March 4th. José Quintana is a Milwaukee Brewer, 1-year contract, $4 million, $250,000 roster bonus. What do you think, Kratz? This is all right. I'm going to go here. We didn't love the Frankie Montas signing, and he was on the Brewers last year. Obviously, he was not in their price range. He's hurt right now. He might come back and be great for the Mets. He signed a 2-year deal for $34 million with an opt-out for himself after year 1. So he's making $17 million a year. That is 4 times the salary of José Quintana. Quintana is making $4 million. Well, I'll even prorate it this way. Let's say Montas comes back in May. Who has a better season from May through October, José Quintana or Frankie Montas, in terms of preventing runs?
For everybody who's watching or listening to this, I wanted to have like a dramatic pause after Scott asked that. That is like the easiest. You just teed up and put the ball right next to the fence to hit a dinger. To me, I don't think it's close. There's a track record, and I get it. He had to rebuild his health status. Q did. José Quintana had, I think in 23, he had 13 or 14 starts. But this dude goes out and pitches. He goes out and pitches. He throws out of the bullpen if you need him. He has been very, very much the level of consistency that you're looking for. He's not even going to slot in as a number 5. To me, if he would be on the Mets right now, he wouldn't be their number 5. And you're paying him. The Brewers are very advantageous about these kinds of deals. Finding a guy at the end of free agency, at the end of the offseason, beginning of spring training, to slot in to be a huge integral part of the team. So, long answer to your question, José Quintana is absolutely a steal right now, especially for that price, especially when you compare it to a guy like you compared it to.
Yeah, he had a 3.18 ERA in the second half of the season for the Mets. He was great in that playoff game. He hides the ball well. It's just not sexy stuff, and it's not sexy StatCast numbers. It's got to be it.
No.
Otherwise, how does this guy not have a job? Almost everybody across the league used him as the one example at the end here where they were like, this is run prevention. This is 10 mil plus for your number 4 starter, let's call it.
Okay, if you don't like soft contact, if you don't like a guy that last year came out and made 31 starts, if you don't like if you're looking for big punch outs, okay, you gotta start going to the top of the free agent market at the beginning of the offseason, and you gotta go pay for those guys. This is a guy, to me, he's an $8 to $10 million pitcher based on where the market's at. Maybe even a $10 to $13 million pitcher. And the Brewers just got him for 4.25, I think, or 4.55.
Yes, 4.25. It's 4 plus the roster bonus.
That is crazy. That is crazy work. And it's just another great move by the Brewers. And yes, I can be a homer for it, but there's also the added part of José Quintana has pitched incredible against the Brewers. And you sit there and you go, this dude is okay pitching in a small ballpark like Milwaukee, and he's not a big punch-out guy. He gives you everything that you need and more. Like, this is a big pickup, and some teams are going to be kicking themselves for not spending $4,250,000.
Yeah, I just think there are others too. I'm picking on one name, but I look at Quintana and I'm like, cool, I'd rather have him.
Yeah, and you can't do that. Every one of those guys, even Frankie Montas, is coming in the offseason going, I'm going to be an all-star this year. To get you in the mindset of a pitcher, of a player that's getting ready for the season, every one of these dudes is preparing to be way above average. Like, they're going to be an all-star this year. So when you compare guys to other guys, I'm kind of like, I bristle to that, because in their mind, they're as good as the money that they're getting. To me, you have to just be realistic about what you're getting when you sign somebody. And this is what you're getting. He's not on the wrong side of 40. Like, José's in great shape. He is an ultra competitor too. Like, he's going to bring more than just his pitching to that rotation.
All right, so where are we at with Milwaukee? Does this change anything for you? Does this make you feel more comfortable? Because suddenly you look at their rotation, okay? Freddie Peralta at the top, great. He's been solid. Been pretty durable. Great for me for Milwaukee as a number 1 starter. Tobias Myers was awesome for them. Breakout player for them. We'll see how he does in really his sophomore season after a breakout like that to be a regular in the rotation. Here it is. They acquired Nestor Cortez in the offseason from the Yankees. I think he'll do well here in his free agent year. Aaron Savali, it was a trade last year and still rates really well on Stuff Plus and some of the other metrics that measure how well your pitches play. And then José Quintana, obviously, to round out a rotation with 2 righties, or make that 3 righties and 2 lefties. Ashby, I think, was kind of the number 6. Woodruff, we'll see how the recovery goes. DL Hall is out for a little bit of time. Jacob Mizorowski throws $1 billion, but still is working on the command and control a little bit. He's in the minors among some others. Point being, it's not a train wreck rotation. That's even actually rude to call it that. Like, I think it's now looking to me, Kratz, more like an average major league rotation. And that might be good enough for the Brewers to win another division.
I love that you said average rotation, because I'll take an average rotation, because there's going to be ebbs and flows during the season. but I would say their depth is above average because you're always looking at, well, you don't know what you're going to get from a bounce back Big Woo. You don't know what you're going to get from Aaron Ashby. You don't know what you're going to get from DL Hall. How's he going to slot in? To me, if you have those three guys and you're uncertain about what you're going to get, if you can find 210 to 230 innings of starting pitching from those three guys, Aaron Ashby's done a great job bringing that big, huge banger to the bullpen. Maybe he can fill in there. Big Woo, he's not going to, you're going to have to really walk him along, not baby steps, but just walk him along as he's going through. But instead of one guy being your depth piece, we talked about the Yankees possibly needing more depth. Instead of one guy being your depth piece to try to figure out 160 innings, you have three that I think if they can get 210 to 230 innings out of those guys combined, then all of a sudden you're able to mitigate any kind of ebbs and flows and ups and downs that this starting rotation, those five that you just had, are going to give you. And there's a lot of upside there too. I love Tobias Myers. I love his fastball.
All right, there you go. Great signing by Milwaukee. I mean, it's low risk when it's at that rate. It is. It is surprising. People in the chat are like, that's it for him? Yeah, that's what happens this time of year. It is surprising because starters will sometimes linger and injuries will occur in a rotation. That wasn't a situation here. It was just Milwaukee saying, we really have no budget this offseason, so we're going to see if we can wait it out and capture a guy that gives us the magic two words in front offices that make them drink. Surplus value. Exactly. All right, FT fam, we'll be right back. Much more from Nats Camp coming up. All right, we'll see if AJ's got us good. Pierzynski?
Yeah, I got you.
Wow,
I hear
we
you.
don't have him. Oh, now we do. There we go. All right, AJ, so you got to weigh in here for a moment. Yeah, we got you. You got us, right? Okay.
Yeah.
José Quintana. José Quintana, we just talked about for 5 minutes.
I love him.
Your thoughts?
I love it. I love this deal for Milwaukee. He's pitched great for Milwaukee or against Milwaukee. For years. I love this deal. I think it's great. It's a veteran guy they can add to their rotation. There's some questions when Woody's going to be ready. And you showed the rotation. You slide him right in there in the back end, and he's a guy that takes the ball every fifth day, gives you innings. Good lefty starter, veteran guy, good fella in the clubhouse. I love this signing for Milwaukee.
Does it change your thoughts on the team at all?
No, but I think they're going to do what they do. They always win more games than we expect them to. I think they're going to be in it again. Murph will have them. They're undaunted. So I feel like Murph will have them ready to go. And I mean, as far as changing it, it's not. This isn't a franchise changing move, but it is a nice move and is a nice piece for the Brewers to add to help them be better. This will help them be better. This won't make them worse.
I mean, obviously there are a few teams that aren't trying. That's pretty obvious. We talk about that for a good chunk of the offseason. But AJ, when you look around at rotations across baseball, do you see all of them perfectly aligned so much so that José Quintana doesn't fit there, at $5 million plus?
There's a lot of teams that could have signed José Quintana, so I don't know why they didn't. But there's we could say that about a lot of free agents that are out there that haven't been signed. So I just don't know what's going on. But there's a lot of teams out there that could definitely use José Quintana.
I'll tell you this: some of the other veteran starters are like, all right, they're going to just be talked to about a market that was set here with Quintana. You know what I'm saying? The phone call now goes, hey, Quintana
you know what? Quintana wanted to play, and this is the best deal he had on the table, so he took it, right? I understand that one signing affects another signing, but at the same time, if that's all you got, then you got to take it or leave it. I'm sorry, it sucks, but that's the way life works, and that's the way free agency works. If you got one offer, guess what you got to take? That one offer if you want to play. If you don't want to play, then you don't take the offer. But if that's all you got, you take it and you go play.
Yeah, I saw a report from Joel Sherman last night saying how Adam Duvall's gotten some calls, but he's like, I'll retire if I don't get the number. And that's okay. But this is that point of year where that is going to happen with some players. It's going to be so low that they're just going to be like, you know what? I played for a while. I made plenty of money. I want to hang with the fam. Screw it. I'm done. All right, FT fan, be right back. All right, here we go. We actually are covering the Nats today and might have a little stadium naming going on at some point. The rights are up for sale. Did we make our offer yet?
Let's not name the whole stadium.
We wouldn't be able to afford you, Scott.
Let's just name the foul territory area. We just have our name down both lines. That's it.
So what would you call it? Foul territory, foul territory?
Not just foul territory. And people be like, it's kind of like one of those, like, I know that's foul territory, but why is there a QR code that I can click on to subscribe to their unbelievable YouTube channel?
Just put a QR code right in the batter's boxes or the on deck circles in foul
on deck circle. On deck circle. Because it's foul territory.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just put a little QR code and everyone would be like, man, I wonder what that is. And then they just click the QR code and boom, up pops Scott's face. We can't afford to pay him because we bought the area, but there's Scott's face.
That's okay.
No, I've got competition, and it's a rival Curly W.
Mm.
Go ahead, read that.
Walgreens has a chance to do the funniest thing. Washington Nationals are finally selling stadium naming rights and jersey sponsors. You need to look at Walgreens. Yep. Literally the same thing. Literally the same Curly W, which they raise after a victory and is the Nats. Well, when you see Kratz hats, it's not technically the W right now, so I'm not going to turn it around and show it yet, but the Curly W, easy peasy. Walgreens, you're already there.
Yep. Those two logos have the same father.
Same father, different mother.
They looked at each other once and said,
"What? It's like Max Muncy and Max Muncy. Max Muncy, the prospect, and Max Muncy, the big leaguer."
Except they have the same name, but they don't look alike. But I get what you're
saying.
Or
Brady Feigl and Brady Feigl, right?
They look alike.
Oh, yeah.
And they really do look alike. Or, I mean, Alabama A and Atlanta A. They're the same, except the Alabama A has a mullet.
Or the Miami Marlins.
I know what I'm talking about. Check it out.
And Minnesota
Twins.
M.
Yep, that's true. That is true.
Anyway.
All right, let's get to the Miami Marlins, actually, because their park was full for the Savannah Bananas for back-to-back nights. Does that tell us anything about baseball down there? Or it was, 2 games with the Harlem Globetrotters in town, so it's just different?
It's been advertised differently. How many times do you go around Miami and you say, wow, look at all the Miami Marlins signage that's around. Look at, wow, this organization really knows how to connect with the people of Miami. No, these people brought a show to Miami and they knew what was coming. Just saying, people love baseball down there. In all of Florida, they love baseball.
They do. I went to the University of Miami. The games were packed most nights. Obviously, it's a smaller ballpark, but I think they were outdoing the Marlins pretty often in attendance. The one for me, AJ, to point to, because you were there a couple of years ago, the World Baseball Classic. Obviously, that's a different story because you're getting essentially an all-star game when you've got the U.S. there sometimes, Dominican Republic. But even the games that featured, say, Colombia against Canada would be pretty busy. So I'm like, okay, there is a thirst for baseball down there consistently, and it's just not being fed correctly.
I agree. I was at the World Baseball Classic. It was incredible. And also, I had some friends being in Palm Beach that drove down to those games. They said it was a nightmare getting in and out of those banana games. They were in Fort Lauderdale area, and it took them over 2 hours. And then parking, it took them over 2 hours. They were there late because they couldn't get in because getting into the Marlins Stadium isn't exactly easy. So it wasn't like it was an easy task, but a lot of people showed up for those games. It should be a hotbed for baseball. Why it isn't, I guess we'll never know. But yeah, I mean, I think it should be great because I was at the World Baseball Classic games. They were incredible.
When AJ brings baseball to Orlando, I think they're going to have a little bit better discussion about how to get to the stadium. Stadium's in a bad location. Don't get anybody. They're like, I don't want to go there. So you better figure it out.
FT fam, we've got our next guest lined up. We figured it out. It's Dylan Cruz, back in a couple minutes. All right, FT fam, we're back. Quote of the night. This is a mini That's What He Said for the YouTube fam. Take it away.
So give me a prediction about the American League East. Who's going to win it?
I have great fears of the Skankies because they're loaded. They'll buy their way out of anything.
That was so good.
I mean,
Just
that
seamless.
comment was just seamless. Didn't hesitate. She talks like that all the time. I bet she is. That is like A100 wit. Lot of wit there from Diana. Is it Diane or Diana?
I think it was Diane, but it was just beautiful off the tongue. Right away, she had it. Clearly, we know what she calls a division rival.
She's afraid. She's afraid. Rightly so, but she's got a good team too. She's got all the Orioles regalia, so she's got a good team.
You should hear what she calls the Red Sox. I won't even say it. It's so bad. So
Even though we're on YouTube, we can't even say it.
No, I'm not allowed. The channel will get shut down if I talk about it. But yeah, Skanky's territory coming soon. But there's monster territory for you where we talk about the Red Sox. Obviously, we have pinstripe territory as well. Subscribe to this channel too. I don't say it often enough. So give us a little love. We're hopping around to different camps. Tomorrow is Astros camp. By the way, for those of you that have been asking, we've been getting a lot of questions, which camps you're going to next. So it's Astros tomorrow. That's Crush City territory. So just a little reminder, give some love to the team shows, but also we're coming right back in a minute to talk to Dylan Cruz of the Washington Nationals about season number 2 coming up for him. Dylan Cruz back with us on Foul Territory. Dylan, good to see you, man. How you doing in camp?
What's going on, Scott? How you doing, man?
Good.
Eric, how you doing, Eric?
Dude.
Hey, so I want to get right to biz because I know we got 10 minutes with you. So first off, I'm sure you've been told this before. You know, sometimes when someone's talking to a younger player, they'll say, hey, you should watch this guy. You're one of those guys because you play the game well in every facet. So my question for you, I don't think I've asked this in the past couple interviews we've had. What's your favorite tool? What's the favorite part of your game when you think about, you know, the way that you play ball?
I think my favorite tool would probably be like just the instinct tool. You know, just I think being a step ahead of, you know, the opponent or something like that. I'm just trying to have that advantage against other guys. But yeah, I would say probably like the sixth tool or something like that.
The sixth tool. See, Kratz, there are more than 5 tools. I don't care what you say.
I agree.
All right.
I agree.
So this is your first camp where you're expected to go in and make the team. Is it different? Is it different than last year when you were here and, I got a chance if I go out and hit 1,000, I might get a chance to make it? Well, you played in the major leagues, and now you're here in camp with Nationals camp, and everyone's looking at you and Mr. Wood, and they're saying, all right, this is the future of the organization. Is that a different feeling at this camp this year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's good for me to kind of just almost prepare for something, knowing that I'm going to be on a team and, not kind of wonder where I'm going to be at almost. Last year was kind of an adjustment year too, as far as, first spring training for me. So this year is the second time around. So it's full go for me and the team. And, but yeah, it's kind of, we're not waiting for the future anymore. The future's now.
All right. So you talk about instincts. Half of stolen bases are instincts. The other half is speed. You got some sneaky speed. Can we get a guess? Can we get your goal for stolen bases this year?
I would love to get 40 for sure. I would love to get that. That'd be fun.
40-40?
I don't know about 40-40.
40 doubles, 40 stolen.
Yeah, I hope, but I don't know about that.
So one thing that we talked to your manager earlier, and he said on base, swinging at better pitches was a key for you. That'll lead to more stolen bases if you're on base more.
For sure.
Do you just have the green light to go? I was never a stolen base guy, so I don't even know what that feels like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have a green light most situations for sure. But like we talked about the 6 tool, you want to run in good situations. You don't want to run when Woody's in a good count, or something like that. Or 2 outs. So I think it's all about knowing the right times to go and just to, I guess, help the team out.
You might still have some books from college in your car. Like you're that recently out of college. But
dude, he went to LSU. They didn't study. They didn't study at LSU. Okay. What are you talking about?
He still has some tabs pulled up on his computer for,
that's a
psychology
tutor.
101, whatever classes you took.
Yeah, he got his MLB degree.
What was the hardest thing about being in the big leagues that you were like, wow, I was surprised? Obviously, everybody pitches well. Wow, that guy's got a lot of power. But what was the hardest thing? Because you went from the SEC essentially straight to the big leagues.
I don't know. I mean, I would say, we had the routines down and everything like that, so that wasn't a big surprise for me. I mean, yeah, I guess everybody's the best player in their team, the best player in their country, or the best player in, their state or whatever it is. So you got to prepare for that. I think, just being a step ahead of these guys is the biggest advantage you can have, really. But I would say the hardest thing, I don't know, man. That's a tough question because, I mean, like I said, they're all really good. They're all very good. They're there for a reason. So, you just try to figure out something that you can be, that can take you to the next level. And whatever that is studying the guys, studying, the team and all that. But yeah.
We mentioned LSU earlier. There's another guy that was on your team.
Yeah.
He turned out okay last
year. He's all right.
Paul Skeens. Did you guys have a competition at LSU? Like, I'm going to go one. No, you're going to go. No, I'm the one. I'm going one. Because going into that year, you were kind of the consensus guy. And then obviously Paul had the year he had. And,
yeah.
And I mean, 2 isn't terrible. But was there a competition between you guys when you were in Baton Rouge?
I mean, there's definitely moments where you mention it once in a while.
Did you face him in, live BP scrimmages and take him deep and run around?
No.
I'm number 1.
No, Coach never really put us against each other. We were either on the same team or not matched up against each other. So, but no, I mean, there's definitely moments where we joke around, say I'm going to be 1, you're going to be 1, but we were so focused on winning a championship that year.
By the way, I'm mad about that. So I'm a Gator fan. So and you being from Florida, you should be ashamed of yourself for beating them in the finals that year.
Yeah, no, I wasn't too ashamed.
I will say this: my revenge, though, Kratz and Scott, was my son played his high school and we hammered him the other day. So
there you go.
That's my only revenge I can have.
Yeah, well, he'll take the LSU title.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I know. I'm aware. But I'm just saying it's a small fraction of revenge.
Great job, AJ. You really did a lot in that game. You did awesome.
I wasn't even at it. I wasn't even at the game. That's the best part. Yeah. I was traveling somewhere for foul territory.
I could tell Cruz was like, oh man, wow. I can't believe you did so much in that game. But what do you do? What do you do in your free time? Because everybody's like, oh, you're so locked in. You're so focused on baseball. Are you able to disconnect from the game? And what is it that you disconnect with?
Well, I mean, I love to go fishing. Like go out and cast a line here and there. We're in West Palm, so I love to go to the beach, go hang out by the pool or something like that. Also recently got engaged too, so hanging out with the fiance now and spending time with her on off days. So whatever I can do to, just relax, stay off my feet, make my fiance happy. So whatever I got to do.
Love that. Love that. Hey, who are you hanging out with? Do you have certain, youngsters on the team that you're spending more time with?
I mean, Brady House, me and Brady, we did a break recently, a little card break on my buddy's channel, Cards and Culture. We did a break. We'll go out to eat. We're going out to eat tonight with the outfielders. So the whole outfield crew is going out to eat tonight.
Who pays?
I think my team has to pay. We ended up losing the game, so I think we're paying.
How much you think that's going to be? Like, should you have negotiated a little bit more in your signing bonus? Like, how much do you think this bill's going to be?
It might be up there a little bit. But
where are you going?
We're going to go get some Mexican food. I forget the name of it, but we're going to have some nice.
Well, Mexican food is usually not that expensive. Now, if you start piling the tequila and wine and stuff on top of it.
I don't know. We're just going to have a good time. If we have to rack up the bill, we'll rack it up. But
Chipotle? You guys going to Chipotle?
Chipotle.
I wouldn't mind Chipotle. Yeah, that'd be good.
Get a double wrapperito. I like that. Get them gains.
Exactly. Got to get double.
Double meat. Exactly. Dylan, are you a collector?
Yeah, been recently getting into the collecting stuff. The cards. Been getting into some breaks. Collecting my cards. Like to collect my first Bowmans, my rookie cards that just came out. Like to collect all of my teammates now. But anything really, whatever it is, like pop culture stuff. So that's cool.
Did you get your 1/1s? Have you signed any cards yet? And have you gotten any?
I haven't got. I have like one of a GPK, the Garbage Pail Kid, but of the like the collab they did with some of the MLB guys.
Yeah.
But those are so hard to get. The prices are so high right now. So
what are the prices? Hey, I want to know how much.
Yeah, how much are we talking here? I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but you were the second overall pick not long ago.
Well, there was a bounty on my first Bowman 1/1 auto for like $200,000.
Woo! I mean, listen. So I'm just going to say this. Like, I didn't know that, but I mean, Paul Skeens 1/1. I mean, I spent a lot of money because my wife and kids. I had to buy those damn Topps Chrome because I wanted the whole thing. I wanted 5. The night with Livy and Paul going to sign jerseys and 30 years of season tickets. Okay, I wasted all that money. I got nothing. So, I mean, $200,000 seems like a steal.
Not really, no.
What will
be your card?
You should throw it out there, though, for the 1/1. You can come hang out with Dylan Cruz at Nationals Park. You'll sign a jersey for me. It'll be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like letting the people collect the autograph ones. I like collecting the ones that are non-autoed, like the ones that are like out of 5, out of 10s. If I can come across a 1/1, that'd be awesome too. But the autograph ones, the fans can have those.
What would be the one? What would be the one? You rip a pack and you're like, oh man, I hope this card is in there.
Well, there's a couple. There's Steamboat Willie. You ever know Steamboat Willie?
Mickey Mouse?
Yeah. So it's like I said, I was into pop culture. So there's this Disney 100 Japan series of Steamboat Willie. Well, anyways, Steamboat Willie came out in like 1924 1928. In a few years, it'll be 2028.
Yeah.
And I think that card, that Steamboat Willie, one of the greatest icons in pop culture, the reason Mickey Mouse started and all that, will be a huge card. So I think if I collect this card, it may be, it may explode here in a few years. So nobody get my ideas, but Steamboat Willie is the one I'm
okay. Wait, do you like Pokemon? Do you do other sports?
Pokemon
You do all of it.
But yeah, anything.
Were
really.
were you out making your parents as a kid drive around when Pokemon got on your phone? You're like, I'm gonna get the little thing that you can't see, but I'm here.
I wasn't obsessed with that.
Okay,
no,
all right,
it was
good.
that Pokemon Go. Where you make sure you got to catch them all or something.
Yeah, and you had to go to like
Yeah.
certain spots in the middle of like the forest, and there's like nothing there, but you're like,
No,
look, I'm here.
That's kind of sketch. You never know what you stumble upon.
Yeah, nah, I was in New York City at that time. It got real weird. It was real weird.
Yeah.
A lot of people walking into walls. So, Dylan, good to see you, dude. Appreciate the time. Great catching up, and we'll see you during the season. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That's Dylan Cruz, Washington Nationals. Be right back. Still got a Dave Martinez combo coming up too.
I don't hear you, Scotty. You're muted.
I didn't want you to hear me. I wasn't ready to talk
Okay.
yet. Here we are, FT fam. We're back. Was figuring some things out behind the scenes to see who else we can get over the next 45 minutes. As promised, obviously, we'll have Dave Martinez, but right now we have Leo. The Sacks always hits. BetMGM futures, NL Cy Young. Paul Skeens at plus 200. Plus 200. Zach Wheeler plus 800. Blake Snell plus 900. Corbin Burns plus 1,300. Chris Sale plus 1,400. Obviously, a lot of similarities here to what we went over with the wins total, but Kratz, thoughts on Cy?
I mean, it was plus 300 until Paul Skeens broke that cutter out in the last game. So as soon as he broke that out, it went down. So you better buy the value before his first start. Zach Wheeler, this is his year. He's come close. But the thing is, he's going on this trajectory. Zach Wheeler, what was that, plus 800 or plus 900? I forget exactly what it was. But to me, there's the value.
Anyone else you like? I like Corbin Burns.
I love Corbin Burns. And I know I'm kind of repeating what I said with the wins total. I just think what he does with that team, you saw how he was kind of able to change who he was with Baltimore. So to me this year, no better way to say, oh, you're paying me $210 million? I'll go CC Sabathia style and go and win a Cy Young World Championship type of thing in my first year of a new contract back in 2009 when he opened the new Yankee Stadium. So to me, Corbin Burns is my next one, especially when I'm getting 4 digits in there, plus 1,200 or 1,400. Whew, love it.
Also, remember, he hit a rough patch last year for a minute and then found it at the end of the year again. He was going through a lot last year, right? Newborn
Twins
action.
were born.
Yep. Contract
there
year.
Was a new organization, contract year, a lot of things that weigh into it. And he still pitched through it. And now he's got extra dad strength because the twins have been born, and now he's got his feet under him, and he's playing at home. Just watch out.
Exactly. And look out for bonus code FOUL, FOUL, up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet when you sign up and deposit at least $10 on the BetMGM app. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Be right back.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
All right, so we haven't had time to cover this one yet, but we'll do it here. Derek Bender was the minor leaguer who was accused of giving away signs to the opposition in A-ball last year, and then the opposing team told his skipper, and they essentially kicked him off the team. He was in the Twins org. He had just been a 5th-round pick of the organization. He spoke for the first time, and it was kind of weird. I mean, I'm looking at the quotes here, and obviously a great job by Sam Blum, who's really good on the investigative side for The Athletic and who also covers the Angels and joins us pretty frequently. But, I'll pick out a few quotes here from Bender, who, of course, in the beginning of the story points out how he's been ghosted by teammates, friends, etc. And, nothing's really been resolved since the incident. They're trying to push things along. It's still under investigation. He's given away pitches when he was playing Lakeland to prevent his team from making the playoffs. That's the allegation. He was cut 1 week later. It was kind of barely a month, AJ, after he had signed. It was a 6th-round pick for about $300,000. And he said, it's not like I'm getting accused of a crime. He still denies that any of it happened. There's no video evidence, despite the other 5 games in that particular series did have, video. That game just happened to not be on video. However, they streamed that thing. So he did say, in the story, it says, Bender said with an almost indignant chuckle, quote, and I'll live with this until the day I die. I never gave pitches away, never tried to give the opposing team an advantage against my own team. So there was some good background from Blum that he's definitely a guy that has rubbed people the wrong way as a person. So he didn't have that on his side. But let's just get to the conclusion here, AJ. Nothing has been announced. The league's still investigating. My guess is they're having a hard time coming up with enough evidence to be like, you're banned. But also, even if he's not, is anyone really going to sign this guy? Do you really think a team would go to another team and make up a story about someone giving away signs about a player who had already been talking about wanting the season to end to his fellow teammates? Is there too much adding up here for anything to go against what he's saying or to any? Yeah.
Well, it's all circumstantial, except for the fact that the team that they played against went to his own team and said, hey, this guy was doing this. We found out about it. We just wanted to let you guys know. Now, Kratz and I have told stories on here before. I remember playing with guys and having to watch certain guys who would do things in the field and give away pitches to their buddies on the other team. And it was like, oh, we caught them. We told them, we're like, don't do this. They stopped. But in the playoffs, like you play the whole year, and I know he was a draft pick, but still you play to be in the playoffs. That's the best time. Even in the minor leagues, you're playing in a playoff game, and it was only going to be 1, maybe 2 more games after this. So like play as hard as you can and try to win it. Even if it's a minor league ring, it's still cool. You can say, hey, I got a minor league championship. I don't know. It just all adds up that he was doing it. And then if you read this, it's almost like he wants everyone to feel sorry for him. Well, if you did what they're accusing you of, no one's going to feel sorry for you. It's just a bad look for me.
I don't know that, his maturity level, if this is true, obviously if it comes out and there's no evidence and it never happened, I would be surprised. But if this is true, like your integrity as a person really has to be questioned for the rest of your life until you prove otherwise, because there's a chance that they make the playoffs. I think they're trying to get into the playoffs, and there's plenty of guys who don't want to play in the playoffs in the minor leagues. I've heard that. I never understood it, and I can honestly say no big leaguers that I ever played with was like at the end of the season, man, I hope the season ends sooner than, if they're having a bad year or something, it's one thing, but like to sabotage your own team, like the part that really stuck out to me was he said, it's not like I committed a crime. You're right. You didn't commit a crime, but if people can trust you after this, to me, that's the biggest thing. And that's going to last with you longer than you're playing. Like playing is a finite period of time in your life. Like how you are as a person is going to go a long way. And to me, to do this, I'm just sitting there like, maybe he didn't need to be in the game. Maybe he didn't need to be somebody that took time away from somebody else. Just give someone else a shot, and that's it. Go on with your life.
Yeah, it's not a federal crime, but it was a baseball crime. Yeah. And here's the facts. He's not good enough for another team to sign him. If he was like Juan Soto, Ronald Acuna Jr., Bryce Harper status, a team would probably eventually get over it. But in this case, 6th-round pick, no team's going to look and be like, this is worth the storyline. So I doubt he's ever going to be involved. He's playing some indie ball or something like that, but I doubt he'll be involved with anything else. And the real conclusion that I talked about when this came out originally was, if you don't want to play, just go home. Tell the team you're dealing with some stuff. And actually, they would have been fine. Hey, I'm going through some things. I just need to take some time off. Teams are much more understanding of things like that. They wouldn't have said, screw you. You have to play in this game. You're not a prisoner. So anyway, it was a weird approach. His agency told him not to talk, and he still did. So, all right. Anyway, let's show you the spring training calendar, please. There it is. As we accomplished Blue Jays camp this week, we're at Nats camp right now. Astros camp tomorrow. We'll steal Jose Altuve's infield glove. Thursday, Phillies camp. And Friday, we'll talk to the Rays. Now let's get to a combo with Dave Martinez. We've got Nationals manager Dave Martinez joining us right now on Foul Territory. Dave, good to see you. And we haven't talked to you in 2025. So what did you think of the offseason for your ball club?
No, it was good. It went well. We filled in some holes. Rizzo and his guys did a good job of just trying to get us some hitters. We want some hitters that can hit in the middle of the lineup. We got a really good first baseman, could play defense. We brought Bell back, who I love, to fill in the DH role, to add on to our young hitters. So it's been good. It's been good. It's been a good offseason. We also added Soroka. He's going to start for us and some bullpen help. So it's been a good offseason, and it's been a good spring training so far.
Why didn't you guys sign Juan Soto? Why didn't you bring Soto back? Huh? I mean, you guys offered him what, $400 million?
He doubled that.
Doubled it almost.
Yeah,
Come on, be honest. You didn't see. Nobody saw that coming.
He did well. I mean, like I said, we offered him a lot of money. He gambled on himself. It paid off for him. He's an unbelievable player. Still, for me, one of the best young players in the game. So good for him.
Yeah, good for him and his family for forever.
For the rest of for generations
for
to come.
eternity.
Yeah.
I mean, that was amazing. So you mentioned some of the guys you brought in. Bell, you brought back, who was here last year, right?
A couple years ago, yeah.
2 years ago. You brought in Nathaniel Lowe. You brought back Finnegan. You brought in Soroka. Which one are you most excited for?
You know what?
You're a hitter, so you got to say you want to score runs, right?
Yeah, we want to score runs. We really do. But, I've always said, pitching and defense wins us ball games. We're going to score. Could win games 2-1. But three things that we got to do consistently. We got to pitch. We got to throw strikes. We got to play defense, and we got to run the bases well. As you know, hitting comes and goes, man. But you can win some games, 3-2, 2-1. So I'm excited about the pitching staff we got. I'm excited about Finnegan, who's going to close games for us again. But adding those two guys in the middle of our lineup, bringing another veteran guy like Rosario and DeYoung also. So I'm excited about the way the lineup is looking right now.
Dave, were you hoping that there would have been a Jason Worth, Max Scherzer type signing, or is that something maybe to expect next offseason? I know you're not making those decisions, but you also were managing a 2019 World Series winning team that, kind of set the foundation with moves like that.
Yeah, the big thing is that we went out there and we knew we wanted some veteran guys. We got some guys that we really feel that can help us, especially help our young kids as well. I mean, we got a core young group that's really good. We got a whole outfield with James Wood, Jacob Young, who I really feel like he should have been Gold Glover, and Dylan Cruz, who those guys to us are the core. They got a taste last year. Jacob played with us all year, but James and Dylan came in halfway through the season and really got their feet wet. So we're hoping that this year they take off. They've done really well. They made some good adjustments over the winter. This spring they've done well, playing well. I'm excited to watch all those three guys play together. Louis had a tremendous year last year, not only offensively but defensively as well. So we're looking for big things from him. And I say it all the time. Our shortstop. Our shortstop to me is sky's the limit for him. Man, CJ's gonna. I love him. He's the one that makes things go. So I'm looking for big things from him as well.
Which one of those guys you mentioned? CJ's been an all-star. But Cruz and Wood are the two guys that everyone talks about in the Nationals organization. What do those guys have to do to take that next step? You mentioned adjustments they made last year, but this will be their first, hopefully, full year at the major league level. What's the biggest adjustment for them to really take the next step? Because I think next year you guys are going to be big players in the free agent game because you guys not only have Cruz and Wood, you got some other guys coming through the system. I was talking to Matty Lee Croy. He was pumping up some of your guys for me. So what do those two guys have to do to become centerpieces of the Nationals organization?
Yeah, for me, it's all about consistency, right? I mean, we saw signs of what they can do. James Wood with some big home runs for us last year, driving balls. This guy. You watch this guy play. He doesn't look like he's running very fast, but he can fly. I mean, he steals bases for us. It's all about consistency. Dylan, he worked on some things over the offseason with his hitting. He understands that, hey, he needs to accept his walks. He needs to get the ball in the strike zone. So far, he's done that all spring. But it's about moving the baseball, taking his walks, getting on bases. Another guy that can steal some bases for us. But what I love about him is that he goes out there, he forgets about his at-bats, and he'll be a potential Gold Glover too. I mean, this guy plays the outfield really well for us.
Nice. I talked about CJ a little bit. He had a little issue at the end of last year. Was that a learning message to not only him but to the whole organization of like, hey guys, we need to be better about everything, on and off the field, clearly?
Absolutely. What young players don't realize, especially, is that, hey, he became an all-star. Everybody sits around, they know who he is, they know what he does. So he's got to pick his spots. We always talk about, but you know what? We're beyond that. I mean, I talked to him over the winter. I don't have any hard feelings about the whole deal. I love the kid, I really do, and for the most part, he's engaged. He's here. He knows what he needs to do. His routine's impeccable. So that's beyond us. I hope he learned from what happened, and we moved on, and we're looking forward for him having to do big things. The key for him is, I know he was an all-star last year, to be an all-star for the whole year, and that's something that we talk about.
Dave, is there a specific part of his game that you'd like to see improved based on the ceiling that he has? Like, where's one part where you watch him and you're like, he can get way better here?
Because consistency on defense will be one. The other thing too is, we have him leading off, is accepting his walks. Because when he's on base, he's the guy that makes us go. He really does. So if he can accept his walks, get the ball in the zone, you guys seen it before. This guy has unbelievable power. But if he gets the ball in the strike zone, he could hit the ball a long way. The big thing for him, I know Darnell's talked to him about, be a 40 or 50 doubles guy, and the home runs will come. But he can also steal 50, 60 bags for us when he's on base.
What's your starting rotation look like? McKenzie, you said Soroka.
Yeah, we got McKenzie, we got Soroka, we got Irvin. We got 3 lefties vying for the 5th spot. We have Trevor Williams. So, you got Hers, Mitchell Parker, and we got Shinosky that we just got from Japan. That's done really well.
Okay, well, you gave us no clues there at all. There was no clues there. You're like, hey, look, I got the roster up. I can read the roster too. Okay, so I can go through it, but I was hoping for a little so opening day would be.
We'll see.
Oh, come on! Come on, McKenzie.
McKenzie for maybe.
Oh, that was a for maybe.
Ooh, I got it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to know what I love about this spring training is the depth. The depth that we have is tremendous. This is the first spring training I can say that we got a core of young starters that are really knocking on the door for us. So it's a lot of fun to watch these guys go out there and compete. We got some really good ones. So I'm excited about that.
And I'm assuming Kyle Finnegan jumps right back into his all-star closer role. And, what was the offseason like? Did you communicate with him at all during the process? I'm sure we'll talk to him later, but you feel weird. Your team non-tenders you, but then you keep the talks going and he signs back.
Yeah, look, we talked before the season, and I talked to him about how things might transpire. He gets it. He understands. I'm so super glad he's back. This guy's, since I've known him, he's taking the ball no matter what the role is. He's taking the ball for me. And he's gotten big outs for me since we've had him. So it's nice to have him back. I try to stay away from guys in free agency because they got a lot to think about. They're thinking about their next team, their family, whether we can bring him back. But I did talk to him a few days prior, before we signed him, just to let him know that, hey, man, no matter what happens, how I feel about him, I hope that we get him back. I'm glad it worked out, but like I said, he's going to be a big part of the back end of our bullpen. He's going to close games for us, so I'm excited that he's here.
How nice is it, though?
Awesome.
As a manager, to have a closer that you can count on. It's a security blanket,
100%.
Because you're like, okay, the 9th is taken care of, and sometimes you can sneak some outs in the 8th, and then you just start building your bullpen from there, and it's one less piece you have to worry about, right? So I think everyone says like, Hall of Fame starter, but a great closer also was a big piece for any team that wants to compete and win anything.
Yeah, we got to remember he was an all-star too. So to get him back here was tremendous. He solidifies the back end of our bullpen. We brought some guys in that could really help us. We had D-Law, done really well. We got this kid Ferrer that last year I gave him a little taste of what it feels like to close games. But we also brought in Sims and Jorge Lopez that's going to solidify.
Got to keep his glove on though.
Yeah.
Okay, got to keep his glove on.
I don't foresee him doing that here. Yeah.
I want to take us in a different direction and actually just get your thoughts on the value of a manager. You've been managing for a minute now. So what do you think of, Dave Roberts obviously leading his team to a World Series and then still in talks, with his ball club, obviously, to figure out an extension? Not that it's not going to get figured out, but we've asked some of the managers, like, do you think that the value of a manager needs to be set to a certain standard these days? Without getting into the exact details of numbers, like salaries were kind of going down for managers at a high level. Craig Counsell seemed to raise the tide again. So, what do you think about your brethren and how they can kind of make sure that they're getting taken care of if they're leading their teams to World Series titles?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's important that each team has a guy that can lead them, not only on the field but off the field as well. So it's a very important position. I really believe that. There's only 30 of them, in the world. So for us to go out there and be consistent with what we teach, what we do, to face the media, twice a day, sometimes to wear it, which is part of our job, and we all understand that. For Greg Counsell and Roberts, Greg got his. I know Dave Roberts really well. He's a good friend of mine. I hope that he gets his as well. But we're all in this together. We talk a lot. We pull for one another until we play one another. But it's a job. I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do, and my job is to make sure that our clubhouse has continuity. We communicate well. And we go out there and we're the face of the franchise. So I love what I do, and I know these other 29 guys feel the same way about their job.
Nice. You had recently, we talked before you came on, that a couple of your guys you won a World Series with. Trey and Max had an interesting moment the other day where Trey first pitch challenge, even though it was right down the middle. Max got a good chuckle because Max already given us his feelings on the ABS and how much he doesn't really want it. What are your thoughts on the ABS? And have you told guys who can do this? I would think Lowe, Bell, maybe Abrams have some power, but then, if you get maybe Kiebert, but some of the other guys, some younger guys, you might be like, hey guys, we might need to save some helmet tapping for later.
We did discourage the pitchers not to do it.
Well, so that's my thing is everyone tells the pitchers not to do it.
Yeah, I think
because when they throw it, they don't always see.
They don't always see the angle. I mean, the catcher's right there. I mean, he knows. To me, he's got a better view of what's a strike and what's not. If I had to pick one guy that was going to do it, challenge, I would have picked Max Scherzer as well to challenge. Yeah.
Well, he did it. Yeah. Max did it the first day, and it was like this far low.
Yeah.
Because it was a curveball, and Kirk kind of brought it up, and he challenged it just to see. He said.
So that's
he looked funny. That was like 8 inches below.
It's gonna be a teaching moment for our young guys when, as we show them that, hey, see, pitchers, they think everything's a strike. So
true.
Yeah, and we're honestly when we're that's where I scream a lot. I probably would have screamed right here, hey, but Matt, you know how Max is. I thought it was great that Trey went out there. I saw the pitch, man. It was right down the middle. And he challenged us. So good for baseball.
Is it?
Well, having fun with it.
Well, my question is for baseball, do you have any feedback? Have you given any feedback to the league? Have any players said, hey, I really like this part of it, or when it gets implemented most likely in 2026 in the majors, I hope they do it this way?
So here's what for me, because I've been in baseball for a very long time. I've always felt like umpires are part of the game, right? And it's a human factor, right? They're going to make mistakes like everybody else does. So I'm biased to having umpires. I know they're trying to clean up the game a little bit and do different things, but we haven't. I got feedback from players, especially our young guys that see it in AAA. And they're 50-50. A lot like it because they don't know any better. That's what they were doing. So, but I think it's just we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. I don't necessarily we've only done it. We don't have it here at our home stadium. We have it in different places, so we don't get to see it that much. I think we only get to see it 10 times. But we'll see how it all plays out.
You're not taking your challenges home with you. I hope every game you use them because why not?
What?
It's like timeouts. You can't take them home with you.
You should use them. We tell the players that if we have them, use them. But a lot of times they don't. Whether they forget they have them, we tell them, or so like I said, we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it transpires throughout the league.
But if they go to this ABS, they've taken away all kinds of calls that you can argue. They've taken away running over the catcher. They've taken away sliding into second base. What can you argue? How can you get ejected? What's your way to get ejected now? Because if you can't argue balls and strikes, because that was kind of like the last thing, you could go out there and kick some dirt over the plate and do the whole thing. But now, once that's gone, you can't challenge anything else. So can you get ejected?
I guess I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna have to scream at an iPad. How's that?
You'd have to throw and break the iPad, and then Rizzo will come get you and be like, "Dave, you're out of here." iPad.
I'll get a nice fine. I'll have to pay for an iPad, which we do. But
have you broken one?
I haven't.
Have you seen people break one?
Oh yeah.
Like players or coaches?
Both.
They throw them, kick them.
They slam them, they throw them. So
then
it doesn't take much.
Then do they get a bill in their locker of that'll be?
We will definitely
one new iPad.
That's next level kangaroo court. All right, here's my prediction though, Dave, on what you're saying. I don't think you'll have a problem in 2026 with saying, hey, we're never using our challenges for ABS. To me, it feels more like it's spring training kind of thing. I'm feeling it out. I think when a player feels like, in the sixth inning of a major league game in 2026 that they got squeezed, they're going to be doing one of these and you're going to be like, guys, we got to hold this. We got to save one for the ninth.
I mean, we've that's one thing that we're trying to learn. We're trying to teach the players when to use it. Yeah. How to use it. If you're a hitter, his base is loaded, and you got a chance of driving some big runs and they do call it a strike that you don't think is a strike. Yeah. If use it, you're right. I mean, that's when you want to use it. For pitchers, same thing. I told the catchers, hey, be smart when you use it, big moments but try to save them. I really do. I said, try to save them until we really need it. And so far, they've been pretty good. We got a guy in camp, Millis, who's been really good at it. Apparently he was one of the best in the minor leagues. So we had him talk to our catchers of when he felt like he should use them and when he should use them. So it's a teaching moment. It's been good. He's been good with it. So we'll see. Like I said, we'll see how it plays out.
Okay, I have to ask you before we let you go. You have your Nationals shirt and you have a Nationals hat on. One has the curly W, which is kind of your logo, and then the hat. What? It's like what? I love New Era, but like what? They just were like, oh, we're just not going to do the curly
alternate
W?
logo.
But they don't even use that. It's like
spring training hat, a little warm-up hat.
Plus, the Navy is not really. Is Navy? I just always pictured the Nationals as red, like a red.
Look behind you.
No, I know, but it's always been red. Everything's red.
I'm sitting here and I'm looking at camera, right? And for me, so I'm colorblind a little bit, but I'm thinking this is black. But I see your shirt right here.
This is gray.
Yeah,
my shorts are black. So this is more of a navy bluish color.
But
I don't know. I just saw that and I was like, man, because I know the Nationals with this, because then and your announcers are like, curly W, light up the curly W when you guys win.
And all I can tell you is they put it in my locker. I come in the morning, I grab it, put something on. So if you happen to throw one of these T-shirts in my locker, I might wear it.
You're about to get one. I expect tomorrow when you do your press conference to have it on.
There you go.
Dave, awesome to see you. Great catching up. Thanks for the time, man.
Good to see you guys. Awesome.
Income.
Hey, FT fam, we'll be right back. Oh, there it is. Right, on the way out. Here we are. Kratz, you got to intro this.
I don't know how to intro it. I mean, like when this kind of stuff pops up, watch me. But when this kind of stuff pops up, you realize that you made an impact in places that you played. I bounced around and I make jokes about it, but it was freaking cool that this guy did this and made a little highlight reel, little dig me film.
Channel all of that in that huge at bat.
Which one? The one I struck out or the one I got the hit in?
That was epic. Are you emotional?
Not emotional, but I do get chills because all the different things, like all my buddies that showed up with all my jerseys. Like, this is why I don't show highlight films when I go, or highlight reels when I go and speak places, because it's showing me like throwing somebody out, then it's showing me throwing a knuckleball, then it's showing me hit a dinger, and people are like, which person on the highlight reel am I supposed to be watching here? Like, what? I'm not sure even what position you're playing. It's always a different jersey. It's just, there's just a lot going on, so I stay away from them. But I do enjoy it. It's fun.
What did this guy do? Who was this man, this Renaissance man in baseball?
Right. And now look at him. He's on FT. He's wearing baseballism shirts. Like, why is he even next to Scott? Like, Scott's incredibly good looking, fit. And I'm just kind of there. Like, I have and that's okay. Like, that's how I like living my life.
They were missing the Astros entrance on opening day.
It was all Brewers highlights. That was all Brewers highlights.
True. That's fair.
My Astros highlights were my tripping on opening day for $2,000, and I think I probably got like 3 hits when I was an Astro, maybe. So it wasn't a lot of highlights.
Well, if they run 3, people will think you had 300. So it'll happen. Somebody want to make that? Go for it. Kyle Finnegan, Nats closer next. Here we go. Nationals all-star closer Kyle Finnegan with us on Foul Territory, back on the show. Hey, great to see you. And also, you're back at Nats camp. So what was the last, few weeks for you like?
It was hectic. Just at home trying to stay ready and work through the free agent process, and just trying to take my time with my agent and figure out the best landing spot for me. And I wasn't complaining about getting an extra 2 weeks at home with the family and the kids. So, spring training's long enough as it is. So I was ready to go.
Where did it look like you were going to go? Because I'm looking at your hair, and the first thing I think is, man, the Yankees always build their bullpen. I'm like, I don't know. They would have had to cut that like Samson's locks off there.
Early on, a bunch of opportunities, but then, as guys, teams get their guys and names start to come off the board, so do the teams. So the options, started to narrow, and there were some fits that we really liked. And, I always knew that the Nationals would be an option, and we stayed engaged all off season, and happy to be back here so I can keep the flow going for a little bit longer.
What was that like? I want to know, because people that don't know, you were non-tendered. I was non-tendered once, but I never got to get numbers, but I saw what you signed for. Did you get to the point with the Nationals where you even discuss numbers? Because where you go to people that don't know, you would go to the team and say, I want $25 million, and the Nationals would come back and say, oh, we want to offer you $2 million. And then you try to meet somewhere in the middle. Did it ever get to that point before because to me, you were kind of a surprise non-tender. I thought you made the All-Star team. You had 38 saves last year. You would think that would be a guy they'd want to stick around here.
Yeah, I think, the arbitration process isn't perfect, and I think certain things are overvalued, and I think saves is unfortunately one of those, which was, the thing I did the best last year. So it's a possibility. I knew it was a possibility going into it. They're running a business as well, and I think they wanted to keep an open mind as, using that money they could bring me back at maybe a lower price and still help build the team somewhere else. So it was a surprise. But at the same time, I wasn't, I didn't have any animosity towards the team. Because
why not? That one to me. I know who non-tendered me, and I was like, screw y'all. Yeah. I'm out of here. I would never have gone back.
Well, I think I knew that they would still be an option, like, on the table. And at that point, you become a free agent. It's just kind of level playing field, and you want to get the best offer you can get. So if it was the Nationals, great. If it was somebody else, it was just kind of let's see how this process plays out and see where we go.
Did you make the right choice? Because you said there were some other offers in the sense of like other teams that wanted a guy. Did you, because we look at the ones that are outward facing are the huge ones. Like Juan Soto got offered 400 some million and then ended up signing for 700. As this offseason played out, were there bigger offers than what you got, or better offers as far as like you're comfortable with the Nats? I get that, you know, the org, like this team would have been more of like an upper echelon team.
Yeah, no, I think I made the right decision. Thinking about all the factors, financially, and then, places that we feel comfortable, and the role, and, all things considered, I think this ended up being the best landing spot for me. So I'm happy to be back.
Can you tell us the other teams that were talking to you? I don't understand why no one. Everyone's like, "Oh, I can't say who else was interested." Why not?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I want to know.
It's all the teams that you see that we're looking for bullpen help, but there's like different stages of teams call to check in on you, and some teams are, start talking numbers. So it's kind of hard to be like,
who do we have on that they said, oh, Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty said he had a hard time this free agency, and he said, yeah, teams are just calling, so what's going on?
Yeah.
His agent's like, well, he's throwing bullpens and he's ready to go and he's healthy. What's going on with you guys? We're like, okay, we'll check back later. And that was it. There was no any engagement. I don't understand.
There's a lot of that. Just, casual conversations, just checking in, like keeping you, kind of like teams letting you know that they're thinking about you, but not necessarily at the point of let's start negotiating.
They send you like a card.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we're thinking about you. Yeah. Keep us in mind.
It's like a recruiting process.
But was it, you had never been a free agent before, right? So was it different than you thought? Because I always tell people, I was a free agent a bunch of times, and it's now everyone thinks, oh, well, you can go to whatever. You can go to the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Nats or wherever. You just pick wherever you want to go. And I try to explain to people, it doesn't work like that. It takes them to want you, and then you have to agree on a number, and you have to want to go there. Was it different than you thought it was going to be? Because I'm sure when you got non-tendered, you were like, you and your wife and your family was like, oh, this is great. We can go to, you're from, Houston area. I could go to the Astros, or I could go here, I could go there. And then they're like, wait, they didn't call. So now where do I go?
Yeah, I think, as a player, that playing for your hometown team is like something you always want to do, or, you have a team that you grew up liking, so when you get to free agency, that's, I think it's only human to think that that's the first thing that comes to mind. But then it's, like you said, it's, teams are looking for certain things. They got certain dollars they can spend. They, GMs are given their budgets. And so you start with a big list, and then it starts to shrink, and you kind of dial in on a few teams that you think would make sense and that also have interest in you. And at the end of the day, it was, the Nationals made the most sense.
Kyle, I know you don't strike out the entire world, and sometimes it bothers me that teams, all say, oh, we got to fix this pitching injury epidemic. And then the way that they value free agents sometimes bothers me. José Quintana is a perfect example. We named some names. I won't, go back to it, but there are quite a few pitchers that signed for more that just frankly are not as good at run prevention as José Quintana. Where do you think we're at state of the game with the way that front offices are valuing pitching?
Yeah, I think, it's stuff first and foremost. They, strikeouts, guys that strike people out and don't give up damage are doing really well in free agency. And, that's a testament to where like training has gone in this day and age. And, guys are just bigger, stronger, faster, and can do with the technology. You can just dial in on things that produce with and swing and miss. And so you've got these extremes, I think. And, for someone like me, I'm always working, to try and get my stuff nastier. But for me, like, I pride myself in being a guy that answers the bell every time. And my best ability is my availability. So, I may not be striking out the world out there yet, but I've been healthy and feeling good. And that's something that's been really important to me throughout my career.
What's the most important attribute? Being able to throw 100, or being able to be a guy that has a different mindset and able to lock in? Because you took a long time to get to the big leagues. You were 28 years old by the time you finally made it. So you've had those ups and downs. But what's in your closer role, what's better to have? Just elite level stuff or that mindset?
I think the mindset is huge, because you've seen guys that have the stuff, that maybe get thrown into the role and their stuff plays down or it starts to speed up on you. So I think guys that are able to slow down the game and understand the situations and just have that calm heartbeat and like a huge belief in themselves, because, you know, it can get going pretty fast there. And the strategy of, you know, the score and the situation plays into how you're going to attack a hitter or if you're going to put a guy on. And it's just different little intricacies in the ninth inning that are different than, say, the seventh and eighth. But, you know, having crazy stuff certainly helps. But I think there's something more to the ninth inning.
Totally. All right, that leads me to the next question. Before we're going to get to your light show, and I'm sure Kratz might ask the same question, but I'm going to ask you about as a closer. People say, "Oh, anyone can close." There's a difference between the ninth inning and the eighth, the seventh, the sixth inning, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you ask any reliever if they'd rather throw the seventh or the ninth, they're going to tell you they want to throw the ninth. And I think for me, something I lean on is like I enjoy being the guy that the manager's trusting to be out there in the ninth inning. You know, sometimes it goes great, sometimes not so great, but you know, it's just you're out there and you're just trusting in the plan that you and the staff have come up with, and it's just being the ultimate competitor. You know, during the ninth inning, it's what everybody wants, and you can feel the excitement pick up, and
you say
it's
that?
just different.
I'm just going to say this real quick before Kratz goes. Do you say that people say they want to pitch tonight? There's plenty of people I played with and you played with. They're like, I'm good in the sixth and the seventh. Okay, I'm just going to stay there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I guess it's not for everybody, but for, you know, a back end guy, I think you would want as many guys that want the ninth as possible.
All right, we're gonna show that video again that we just showed real quick here. Two things: did you pick this light show out, and if you didn't, do you like it? And the second thing, you walked right by the bullpen cart. Will you ever ride the bullpen cart in?
So I did. I picked the song, and they, our crew here with the Nationals, queued up the lights to the.
What's the song?
It's "Tomorrow" by Silverchair.
Never heard it, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. But the cart, I've taken the cart one time, and it was like a tribute to Do. We all took the cart, and also actually I've taken it twice. Steve Cishek, all-time teammate. He said it was his last year. He was thinking about hanging it up, and he was like, "You know what, boys, we're taking the cart today," and we took it. We listened to Steve.
That's awesome. I love that.
I like it.
Well, Kyle, awesome to see you. Thanks for closing out the show with us, dude, and good luck.
And I wish we could get the lights to, you know, Mark bought these cheap lights, so we can't get them to change colors, right? So they're only white. Sorry, guys.
We'll save it for the
thank
season.
you guys. Appreciate
you, Kyle. Here we are. Apparently, Sugano, the new starter for the Orioles, who comes over for Japan, looks like someone else on the mound.
Wins.
Good call here. I think we got it. Oh, we're getting
side by
One
side.
sec.
The side by side is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
No, don't say it. Don't say it. Just let. Like I wish we could do the whole, you know, batter up thing where we just see his motion and then go, who does this look like? Because there's some very significant attributes.
There it is. Zach Greinke. Describe it.
This, not to go into pitching mechanics, but to be able to pitch like this, to be able to have the balance and body awareness to go down the hill the same as Zach Greinke and Sugano does, you have to have a level of athleticism that not a lot of pitchers do. Not every pitcher is very athletic. Zach Greinke was one of the elite level athletes that just happened to pitch. So we don't know a lot about Sugano. We know his success over in Japan in the MPB, but we don't know a lot about him. This opens it up for me. So maybe he's able to really manipulate the ball and change his pitch delivery, timing, all that stuff. So interesting to see.
Do you think he took a page out of Greinke's book? Do you think he's seen his delivery and was like, I'm going to mimic that? Or it's just something that was custom crafted for the most part and happened to turn into a similar delivery?
I would love to be called wrong on this one, but I'm thinking it just kind of happened. I think you can start taking attributes from certain guys, natural attributes, and they just kind of go down the mound. They go down the slope similarly. Obviously, they're both starters. To me, they just control their body from the beginning to the end. They're not max effort guys, but those guys usually, their foot lands at the exact same spot every single time. Like there's no variance. It's not a real violent delivery, but it's so under control that they're able to manipulate and move the ball where they want to enough to stay off the barrel.
Mm-hmm. All right, FT fam, back for slap hands in like 30 seconds. Seconds.
So Mark's been it's been holding out on us the whole time. The lights change colors, and he just now told us after we had the closer. Red, white. I mean, think about how much fun we could have had with the Kratz, and now Mark finally tells us after the show's over.
He knew it the whole time. He's professional. We're not having light shows. You're not the closer. Scott's the closer. This is Scott's show.
Ooh.
Thanks to the children on the road in Palm Beach.